But I believe we're live. I think I have everything set up to transfer everybody to the right place.
We are good.
We're good? Yeah, here we go. Cool. Sweet. We're on.
We're back after a while.
Quite the layoff, man.
It's been a while.
Well, it was 2 weeks ago. It was exam week for us.
Right.
It's a bit of a trying time.
Yeah, busy time.
You were saying, though, you didn't even have to go up to the campus for that, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice, but
A lot of online submissions.
still had a lot of stuff to do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I could do it from home.
Yeah, of course. I was in 3 classes that were the Tuesday, Thursday schedule.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 exams were on Thursday.
So you were there like all day.
Yeah. So I had 11:30, 2:30, and 5:30.
Ew.
And the 5:30 was actually 2 different exams. There was like the multiple choice exam and there was a program skills test. So I had 4 exams on Thursday. I mean, if you really want to think about it, I had 5.
Yeah,
because my 11:30, I had to both present a song and take the final and make up for a quiz I missed. So I really had 6 tests on Thursday.
So then it probably took you a total of like an hour and a half total.
To do everything?
Yeah.
No.
You didn't take your 20 minutes to do a test?
Well, the first class of the day, I had to, yes, the tests were done, but I had to stick around after to present the song.
Oh.
So I had to wait till everyone was done.
But still, you were done in like 25 minutes.
I was literally done with the final in like 6 minutes.
And then you just sat there like,
Literally twiddling.
This was kind of quick.
I was, well, it's funny because I was done with the test, and I put my pencil down, you know, because like I'm done. So I put the pencil down, and the dude sitting next to me literally looks over and gives me like the weirdest, is like, what sorcery is this? Like, how are you done? Well, I mean, he knows it was a class I'd taken before.
oh,
And
okay.
it was a songwriting class. And so I literally just took the class so that I could network with other songwriters. And so, like, I wasn't even really that interested in the material. And so there were a couple of questions I left blank, you know? But, like, I've taken the class. I've been familiar with the material now for a year and a half. So it was a real quick process for me to just be like, oh, yeah, that's this, that's this, that's this. And I was done. And he just looks at me like, huh? Like, he was still on the first page out of, like, 4 pages, you know?
You're like on question 2.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. Yeah, so I had, and then Thursday night, I drove down to Galveston.
It was a long day.
Yes. And I got no sleep Wednesday night because I was worried about everything that was going on Thursday. So it was just the problems, they just,
See, and I think I
stack.
finished everything on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, I had stuff due Thursday, but I just turned it in on Wednesday, I think. I don't even remember. I don't even care anymore.
You're done.
I turned it in and shut that off.
I've got a fancy diploma now.
Fancy?
Associate's degree. Well, actually, so the diploma's not here because they shipped that in the mail, right?
Right, yeah, I got
But
mine whenever.
I was handed something on stage
Okay.
that looks official.
Like high school when they hand you the paper, but it's not really your diploma and you got to go pick it up later.
Well, what they gave me was it was like a hardback covered like book almost, and it just said Collin College on it. So it was a stand-in prop
Right.
for, hey, you know, you've graduated, and then the diploma comes in the mail month or 2 later. So yeah, I got the associates now, and I'm working towards a certificate in this stuff. Certificate in broadcast journalism.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe after the certificate, I go where you're going, which is UNT, and I probably ask if any of that stuff will transfer. Probably won't.
I mean, all the basics will.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, all those will. 100%.
I'm in.
Because Colin is really good at that.
Yeah.
They're good at working with basically every Texas school, making sure that all their stuff will go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was easy.
Sweet. So that's kind of where I am right now. That was it.
Okay.
I
don't know.
I mean, did you want me to talk about anything else?
No, I don't. No, I think you're good.
Okay, so I know we can start where I know you're dying to start,
What?
which is the Western Conference Finals of the NHL.
Oh yeah, dude, I love me.
You have been
I love me some Vegas.
yes, I know. So
Which hold on before we start.
okay.
I heard the other day that Vegas is set to lose about $6 million if not the team, the city, the gambling.
Okay.
The gambling is set to lose $6 million if the Golden Knights win it all because of just random bets made before the season.
Their own city is gonna lose money on the team's success. That's
Yes.
insane, dude.
Yes.
Well, that could honestly,
They could.
Well, but that could be kind of a more widespread problem now because federally,
Yeah.
sports gambling it's legal now,
Yeah.
and so
Or it could be legal.
it's up to the states.
Yeah.
But I think I was reading a projection that like it's expected that 32 to 33 states are going to legalize sports gambling.
At some point
Yeah.
or like soon.
Probably at some point over the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. That sounds about
they're
right.
Gonna get it in there.
I think like 20 will probably do it in a year or two.
Yeah. Well, it's probably going to be similar to like marijuana, right? Like there's
Yeah.
Colorado and Washington that just jumped on it.
Right.
And then there's California that was a little bit slower about it, you know. But then this is the way I heard it, right? It's like it's not like all of a sudden there's going to be like a sports gambling bookie on every corner, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
It'll be like
the people that did it illegally are going to do it legally now.
yeah,
And the
in
people
the same
that,
way.
And the people that dabbled illegally are going to dabble legally now. There might be like, I don't know, 1 or 2% of the people are like, "Oh yeah, I'll bet on this game." You know? Maybe a couple of them pick it up more.
Right.
Just cuz it's all legit now.
It might be easier
But
access.
the people that don't bet on sports, myself included,
Right.
They're still not betting.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
It's
interested
just
in betting.
easier access.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be a lot of electronic stuff, you know,
Dude,
transactions.
Most
apps.
wealth is electronic now.
Yeah. A lot of apps. I
Yeah.
can see the apps just booming.
Dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah, but there's gonna be more of this, where, like the Vegas Golden Knights before the season, obviously probably the biggest underdogs or one of the biggest underdogs
Yeah, they
to
were
win the title.
Yeah, they were at one point they were probably like 100 to 1, 200 to 1. I don't know. Something stupid
They
like
weren't
that.
Leicester City 5,000 to 1 though. Were
No. But this is next. This is next level.
they? This is
Below
next
level. But yes, okay. So Vegas they swept the first series.
Yeah.
Then they took care of the Ducks. And then so now they're in the West Finals against Winnipeg, who's
Yep.
also never been there.
Yep.
They both won their first playoff series ever.
This year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So game 1 rolls around, Winnipeg just jumps on them.
I know.
2 days after winning game 7 against Nashville, who had the best record in the West. And Winnipeg was second.
And Nashville lost in the finals last year.
Right.
In the Stanley Cup.
So that was a huge game. That was,
Yeah.
you know, and Winnipeg pretty much was in control of the whole game. But then, yeah, just 2 days later, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to come down. They were at such a high. Mm-hmm. They start off on that high.
Yeah.
And they just cruise to a game 1 win. I'm like, oh, no.
So you are absolutely, undeniably a bigger hockey fan than I. And so I was talking to my mom the other day. This is a little bit unrelated, but I was saying that there's a difference between knowing something and understanding something, right? Like I know football, I know basketball, I know soccer. I don't claim to know hockey, but I understand baseball, right? And like the analogy I was giving my mom is like say you have to turn left here, right? But like just down the road there's a red light. Well, you know that light's going to turn green, which means the traffic's going to come, which means maybe speed up a little bit so you beat the traffic, right? Like that's like you can know that the red light is going to turn green, but if you understand that the red light's going to turn green, then you know how it's going to affect you, right? And like so that's kind of the difference. Like I don't really understand a lot of sports. I understand baseball. Like that is my forte. Like I understand a little bit of football. Like I understand a little bit of basketball. I understand a little bit of soccer. but I don't even claim to know hockey, right? So like I have not been watching almost at all. And then like the last time we did the podcast, you were hyping up Vegas so much. So I tuned in. And what happened? The first like 6 minutes of game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, they're getting destroyed by Winnipeg.
Yeah.
They're down 3-0 with like 13:32 in the first period.
Right. It was bad. It was bad. And
So you know what I did? I turned off the game. And guess what?
well, they didn't win that game.
But they're back.
They're back.
They are back. But they came back in that game. They didn't get shut out in that game.
No, they lost, I think, 4-2.
See, they won the rest of the game 2-1. Okay? That I wasn't watching. And now they're up 3-1 in the series.
Yes.
I'm strong correlation, doesn't necessarily mean causation, but there's a very strong correlation, and I'm going to keep on my end of the bargain.
So, yes, they have won 3 in a row. But, like you said, so Winnipeg came out strong. Winnipeg, they're very streaky in the sense that they get momentum. And when they get the momentum, it's like going on a 10-0 run in basketball. You're just like, oh, no. And then a guy's wide open for 3 in the corner.
Yeah. And
you know it's going in.
Yeah, but you just start calling timeout, just try and break
yes.
it. Yeah.
That's Winnipeg. They're like a basketball team. When they get going, you don't stop them.
Yeah.
And so you have to find a way when they score, they don't score next. They cannot score next. So that kept happening in game 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I did is I went and looked up game 2. And this has been a trend in the 3 games that Vegas has won. So Vegas is up 2-0 in the third period in game 2. And Winnipeg scores 7 minutes in. And like Winnipeg does, they like to score quick and in bunches. So what happens a minute and a half later? They don't score. Vegas scores. They answer immediately and just in the rally.
Yeah.
They win 3-1. That was it. That was the final scoring.
Yeah.
Winnipeg couldn't rally after that.
It's like when, if I can like throw some analogies from other sports in there, right? Like it's like when a team's driving down the field and they've got a 3rd and 2 just outside of field goal range, you get the sack.
Yes, and you knock them out of field goal range. Yep. But if they get the first down, they probably go to the end zone.
Or like in baseball, a team's rallying, they've already got to run across, they got runners at the corners, 1 out, boom, ground ball, double play.
Yeah.
It kills it.
Yeah.
Just like that. You see, like those are things I understand.
Right.
Like when you're talking hockey to me,
yeah.
Sometimes it sounds like Italian, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, he's on the fast break, it's a 3-on-1. I'm like, well, like I understand a 3-on-1 in like basketball,
right?
Or like somebody behind 2 blockers in the open field,
Yeah, so like not only are they managing the momentum, they're ending it by scoring.
They're taking it, they're transferring it to themselves.
Yeah, they're shoving it right back in their face.
Yeah.
So game 3 rolls around.
Yeah.
Series tied, second period. Vegas is up 1-0. And Winnipeg scores early in the period. By the way, Mark Scheifele, one of the forwards for Winnipeg, he's already set a postseason record for road goals in a postseason.
Really?
He has 11 road goals in the postseason.
I'm doing the math. They can't have played more than 6 or 7 road games.
Let's see.
7 or 8, maybe.
The first round, they had home advantage. Second round, they didn't. So they played 4 in the second round. And they've played a couple now.
So they've played 8.
Roughly, yeah. Something like that.
They've played 8 road games.
Yeah.
He has 11 goals.
Road goals.
In those 8 road games.
Yeah, and he has 2 home goals. But anyway, so this dude's amazing. So he scores. So what happens? You're like, uh-oh, here comes Winnipeg. Nope. Yeah. 12 seconds later, Vegas gets the lead back. Then 2.5 minutes later, they add a third. So just like that, there's 3 goals, but 2 of them are Vegas. And they end the rally. They go on to win 4-2. Like, it's unreal. Like, I don't know if it's coaching or if it's just a mindset. So then I go to game 3, and I remember our game 4.
Yeah.
Which was last night?
Yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm kind of checking the game on my phone, and Vegas is up 1-0 again. I'm like, all right, sweet. They scored first. Well, here comes Winnipeg. Power play goal, which is the worst because they're so good on the power play. And they score halfway through the second period. Looks like about 40 seconds later, Vegas scores. Kill the rally, momentum back on your side. They go on, they end the rally there so they don't go down. Winnipeg ends up tying the game in the third, and then they score 7 minutes left to win the game. Vegas does. And go on, take a 3-1 lead. So, yeah, they're one game away.
And they got game 6 at home.
Yes, so now they go back to Winnipeg.
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yep, tomorrow, chance
2 p.m. Central.
To go to the Stanley Cup Final.
That's insane.
Where they will play.
They just got to win 1 out of 3, man.
Yeah. The odds are very good. Like, Winnipeg is really good, and I fully expect Vegas to just end this before Game 7. Like, no doubt in my mind.
You don't think Winnipeg can win in Vegas?
No, I don't even know if they'll win tomorrow.
Wow.
Because they've never been in a spot like this. They've never, and neither
is Vegas.
Right, but Vegas is just riding that high. Like, they have nothing to lose. Their whole season is...
Well, Winnipeg has nothing to lose either.
Except
the series tomorrow.
Right, but they've been to the playoffs at least once recently.
Yeah.
Vegas obviously hasn't even been around. Yeah. And I was thinking about this, like, this is the perfect...
You're wrong, though. Vegas has more to lose than Winnipeg.
Well, money-wise.
Exactly. Because the city of Las Vegas...
But it's not their money, so they don't care.
The house doesn't win if Vegas wins.
Well, they still have to win it all, not just the West.
They should have been the Vegas house. That should have... Okay, that's it. If a baseball team or a soccer team ever moves to Vegas, or a basketball team, right? Like, if they get another professional sports franchise that's not the Raiders, right?
Well, they have. I learned this weekend.
Who?
Or last weekend. I didn't even know that one of the WNBA teams moved there.
Are they the house?
No.
Because the house always wins. That's the greatest team name ever.
The Homes.
And it's in Vegas.
Could they be the Homes?
The Homes. Yes, it's the Vegas CB Jenny.
But yes, one of the WNBA teams moved there this year, and I had no idea. They took one of the... They used to, and I still might have
the Vegas Victorians.
Reno has a minor league team called the Aces.
Okay.
So the Las Vegas Aces.
The Vegas Aces?
Yeah, the Vegas Aces. WNBA team. It was the old San Antonio team.
Yeah. Well, they need the Kings then.
Sacramento's
got to move.
Which means that means the NBA is going to be moving there soon. I think this is like a test for them because the NBA owns them.
See, Sacramento's going to move to Vegas. Sacramento Kings are going to become the Vegas Kings. And then the WNBA team could be the Queens.
Yes.
That's it. We've got it all planned out for you, Las Vegas.
And then you move one of the D-League teams or G-League.
Yeah.
And they're called the Jacks.
The Jacks. The Vegas Jacks.
Yes. Marketing for the NBA.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, anyway, Vegas is one game away from the finals. They're going to make it. And we don't know who they're going to play. Because tonight is Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Capitals and the Lightning.
Yep.
They're back in Tampa Bay. And the road team has won every game.
So that means the Caps are up 3-2.
No. So the Caps won the first two. And I'm like, I'm thinking, wow. Like, they dominated. Like, Lightning didn't even show up. They breezed against who I thought was the second best team in the East, not named Pittsburgh, in Boston. They just breezed by them. They won 4 in a row against them, beat them at 5. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Tampa's going places. And then after Game 2, I'm like, okay, is Washington finally for real? Are they finally for real? Like, they finally made it this far? They've never made it this far with Ovechkin. They breezed through 2 games, going home for 2 games, and Tampa turns it up. Tampa turned it up hard, and they came out with 2 wins to even the series, and now they play Game 5 tonight, and all the pressure's on Washington. It's just all on Washington now. They've blown the 2-0 lead. They've never been this far. How do they react tonight on the road in Tampa? And I fully expect Tampa to win this game, and I said this once the conference finals were set, that Tampa was going to win the Stanley Cup. Because they're the only team there that has the experience of the 4. And I think they'll win tonight, and eventually they'll play Vegas for the Cup.
Interesting trend here. In 7 of the 8 NHL Conference Finals games, the losing team has scored 2 goals.
Yeah, you got to score goals. This ain't the old NHL. You got to score 3 to have a chance.
Yeah.
And if you score 4, you're going to win. Pretty much. Now, some of these are like empty net goals at the end of games.
Yeah.
But not all of them. I mean, but yeah, 2. If you only score 2, your goaltender's got to be on. I mean.
Are there any of those guys in this playoffs still?
Yeah. Marc-Andre Fleury for the Knights. He's been the best player of the playoffs.
Wow.
And that includes Mark Scheifele scoring 11 goals on the road.
Also on the Knights.
No, he's on Winnipeg.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the 11 goals that dude has scored for the Golden Knights on the road.
Oh, no. He's on the Jets.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And some of them have come against
the Golden
Fleury. So, but yeah, Fleury's been amazing. And he's the only guy on the team, really, that has that experience to take him there. Because he's won with Pittsburgh. Which is why I gave the edge to Tampa, but he's a big edge for Vegas, and he's the reason why they are where they are.
Wow.
So, but yeah, the rally cry, it makes so much sense for Vegas. Like, the rally cry is, okay, guys, we assembled this team. You all have no chemistry unless you happen to play with each other briefly somewhere else.
Yeah.
You have no chemistry with one another. You don't know one another. You don't know us as a coaching staff.
Yeah.
But you have one thing in common.
You weren't wanted by everyone else in the league.
Your team did not want you.
Yep.
Rally cry. Boom.
Literally everyone on the Vegas Golden Knights is Maurice Jones-Drew.
They were not wanted. Every one of them.
Yeah.
And so they all have that to kind of go back on. I don't know if they do that, but you would think so.
It's got to be a talking point.
Yeah. Especially during the season.
Well, I would expect, especially now that they've had playoff success, you've got to say something because if you're a brand new team that just shows up and just dominates like they have and gotten to this point with and there's no precedent for this, right?
No.
And so it's really easy to just be like, look, we're the best team in the league.
Yeah. Which for a time they had the best record.
And so as a coaching staff, they always have that over these players. Which is like it's always the humbling factor that gets them back in the weight room the next morning, right? And gets them back on the ice early, 10 minutes early for practice. Do you know why you're here?
Right.
It's almost like that scene from Moneyball when he's talking to Justice in the batting cages.
Right.
And he's like, everyone else getting paid nothing. I'm getting paid $6 million. Actually, and then Billy Bean's like, well, actually, I'm paying you $3 million. The Yankees are paying you $3 million to play against them. That's how much they don't want you. And it's like they always will have that over these players until the end of this playoff run.
Right.
And then after this playoff run, you reevaluate it,
Right. And I fully expect them to not even come close to this next year.
Yeah. Well,
it'll be such a letdown next year.
Well, I do have a question though about like their contract situations. So like, do you inherit the contracts that they had with their previous teams?
Yeah.
So like, how many of these guys are free agents? And like how many of those guys?
A few.
And like how many of those guys are gonna make money on the market and go elsewhere? So like,
well, one of their best players is James Neal.
Yeah,
he's one of their assistant captains. They don't have a captain. They're one of the few teams that don't. But he's one of their best players. He was on Nashville last year when they went to the Cup.
Okay.
He's one of their best players. He wasn't kept by Nashville because of the looming free agency.
Yeah.
So he had 1 year left. Vegas scooped him up because 1, he's a good player. 2, he's a veteran player. But 3, they had to meet a certain salary.
There's a salary minimum of what they had to pay.
Right, and he had a decent amount.
Yep.
So that's why they took him. But he's going to be a free agent, so he might go. They have some looming guys.
Yeah.
But they could also go out and spend if they wanted on somebody else. Or they could sign him. But yeah, there's going to be some looming guys. But the first year, I feel like you can't match this next year.
Well,
you just can't.
I don't want to draw the comparison to Leicester City because these guys weren't in the league and one of the worst teams in the league and then come back with the same roster the next year. Right. But you think of like what Leicester City pulled off in that 1 year.
And then the next year they were just average.
But then the next year, the spot that they had never been in before was the Champions League.
Right.
And they won their group.
Right. They went pretty far.
I think they got to the round of 8.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think they lost in the round of 8.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But it's like there's just something to be said about not knowing any better.
Being fearless.
Yeah, which, if you want to segue, is where the Braves are right now.
Yeah.
Is because
pretty much.
They have a really young roster.
With a couple veteran types.
Just a couple, like a Nick Markakis and a Julio Teheran and a Freddie Freeman. Yep.
And then just a bunch of guys that were called up this year.
Well, and they've
good players,
but they've got a couple of those journeyman guys like a Tyler Flowers and a Kurt Suzuki.
Right.
You know?
And just a couple randoms like Ryan Flaherty was playing third and just hitting out of his mind.
And now it's Jose Bautista.
Yeah, he needs to go. But yeah, they have this youth and veteran leadership and fearlessness and confidence and just going out there and playing ball. And they're doing it.
I think the best player on the team is Ozzy Albies.
Dude, he's good. But the future best player
is Acuna Jr.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy is amazing.
Yeah.
He just showed up and started lighting it up.
But today, I think the best player on the team, I think he's better than Freddie Freeman, is Ozzy Albies.
He's right now he's in that early MVP type conversation.
The reason why I say he's better than Freeman is because I don't value the defense at first base. Like there are thousands of people in the world that can play major league caliber first base defense. You just cover the bag. It's simple footwork around the bag. Occasionally you have to pick a throw. Right.
It's mainly the picks.
That's just a lunge, right?
Right.
It's a lunge and a pick move.
Your defensive efficiency basically comes from your picks.
Yeah.
And saving runs.
Whereas Ozzy Albies being second base, it's an important.
It's definitely tougher. Yeah.
It's a middle infield spot.
Yeah. Him and Dansby.
You could say it's the third most important defensive position on the field. Well, besides catcher being number one, but then center field, shortstop. Probably shortstop and then center and then second base. So he's one of those guys.